Good morning, everybody. This is Murray Fife here, and today was supposed to be a live stream talking about the Advanced Dungeons and Dynamics 365 bare bones configurations guides, and we had a slight change because I think I wanted to show something a little bit different today, and talk about some other different different topics. So what? And just bear with me for a second. So what I've seen over the quite a bit is people creating documentation, me included, talking about dynamics and talking about how you use dynamics, and all of it's great. There's a lot of really good bloggers and content creators out there that are creating documentation. Now, what I wanted to show was how I go out and how I take that documentation and then convert it into a different format, into a better format, using ChatGPT. And now that, depending on how you do this, it's a little bit hit and miss, and have sort of grasped how you can go out and how you can make really useful and presentable documentation through this. So what we're going to do today, instead of talking about setting up dynamics, I'm going to show you how you document the setup of dynamics and use it in the system. So what we're going to do is I'm going to swap over to my main machine, and if I can see that there's some people, mainly on LinkedIn. I haven't seen the other streams, but if you have questions, then just pop the questions in the chat box, and I can answer them along the way. But what we're going to do is we're going to look at ChatGPT and look at how we can go out and create some documentation. Now, I'm going to start off, and I'm going to show you some of the standard documentation that gets created and why those don't work in the system. So we can go out and let's say we want to let's say we do what most people do, which is we've gone out and said, create a training guide, and so this is going out, and it's just ChatGPT is just going out and creating information, and it may be pulling up some of the configurations that I've got already, but it's going out and it's pulled in some information here, and in general it's pretty good, but sometimes it's a little bit hit and miss with the configurations. But and sometimes it can give you the wrong navigation paths, and it can give you some just misinformation along the way. So what you can do is, or what I've done is, I've gone out and I create the training information through into GPT so that it has an idea. So let's look at one example of that. And what I did is I went out, and I'm going to go to my desktop, and I found the very first document that I created, and not the very first document that I created, but one of the first documents that I published, which if I open it up, then let's open up Word. then here it is here. So it was actually a guide on configuring costing sheets within Dynamics. So this document was as I think is really useful, because what it does is it's got a little bit of introduction. I went out and I spent a lot of time creating this, and I've got configured here with images. This is pretty good. So I can go out and this shows me how to manually assign this. If we notice here, this is on AX 2012, and we've got some detail here. Now, say for example, I wanted to spiff this up a little bit. Then what I can do, and we'll change this here. What I want to do is I want to bypass the problem where ChatGPT goes out and makes up stuff along the way. I've got some really good content here, and I'll show you how we can do this through a task guide as well. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go out and I'm going to say, I'm going to give it my rough draft. So consider this as a rough draft of what I'm working on. And this, I can do the text as well. But I could say, create a summary of this document. And what that's going to do is it's going to take the document and it's going to ingest it. And it's actually showing me the key information here. So it's setting up the costing versions. It's going out and creating product costs and creating calculation groups, cost calculations, and so forth. So there's a lot of information here. There's around about 10 different chapters in here. Now, what I can do is I can guide for the adding of the surcharges. What I've found is that if you've got a large document, you have to break things up into chunks. And if I had a large document like this, then what I'd do is I'd load in the core information, then I'd work task by task moving through these. And what I'm seeing here is I'm already seeing some really good information coming up here. So I've got a list here. It's actually creating a placeholder for a screenshot. It's telling me that I want to go out and open up the costing sheet, and that's in modules, inventory, warehouse management, set up costing sheets. That's all coming from the document. And then I have some more information showing up here. Now, what is happening here is it's going out and it's really taking the document and formatting it for me. Now, it's created this document in a certain way. But say, for example, let me see. Say I wanted to go out and use a specific format for my training. So what I'm going to do, let me change this. What I'm looking for is a sample document to use. So let's see. Trying to find create or edit a customer account contracts. So all I'm doing here is I'm just going out and finding a reference article that I can use. This is a CE version. It's not really what I want to do. Let me try to see if I can find account in. So okay. So here we've got in the Microsoft Learn, we've got a format here that Microsoft uses. So it's got examples and feedback, and let's say let's just choose one of these. I'm trying to find. Okay, we'll choose the customer posting profiles. Then this is one, and I chose this because it's got steps and it's got fields inside of there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this, and I'm going to refine this. And all I do is I say, create the training document, this example. So I'm not telling it to create the training documentation based off the example that I'm choosing. It's going out and saying, create this article based off the format that I use. And now my documentation is getting prettier along the way. So I can see now I've got worked examples, I've got tables that are showing up here, and then I've got more information. So I could, now also what I could do is I could say add more narratives for the example surcharge setup. And what it's going to do is I'm going to embellish this, and I'm going to add more information. And then we've got a narrative here for the administrative overhead and a narrative here for the quality assurance. Now, this information should be more correct. It should be, it's using the background knowledge that ChatGPT has to go out and create this for me. So what I've done is I can then say, create new guide based on all this information, include all detail. So now we've got our adding of the surcharges, and it's going out and it's going to build this for me. So we've got all the data groups, we've got the posting examples that we've got here, and we've got a conclusion that's associated with this. So now what I can do is if I go over to Word, then if I have inside my template, then I can go and paste in this all this content. And now it's start creating the document. Now, so I've gone out and if I look at this document and look at the styles, then I'm saving time because I've gone out and I've defined some additional styles here. So I can go and say that I want this to be the article heading. So let's choose that. I'm going to remove this date here, and then I'm going to say that this is a article subheading here. We've got some documents. This is going to, I'm removing out all of these tables here. Now we've got a step, and I'm going to go out and I'm going to format this for my steps. And if anyone's seen my documentation, then this should start looking very familiar with how I do these. But I'm changing the table heading here, and then also what I'm going to do is I'm going to change this layout and repeat the row on the top. And then I'm going to move through and work through these and just format this however I want. So I've taken, if we look at this document that I've got here, and if we go over to my original document, which is a step-by-step instruction, and if we go down to let me find the surcharges that we've got, the section that we're working on, then this is the original document that I had. Very functional, tells you exactly what you need to do. And it's got instructions and screenshots along the way. But there's no why and how and whatsoever associated with this that I set up. And the document itself is only around about 3 pages. If I now look at what I've created, then we've now got a prettier document here. We can go out and we can reformat these and make these look nice. If I've got these lists here, I can just go out and quickly improve the document format directly here within the view. So I've now I've really created something that's got a lot more information, and I'm guiding it. I'm telling it what to do within the system. Now, the other interesting part of this, say, for example, we're over here within Dynamics, and you're saying, and I hear you saying, why don't we just use Task Guide to go out and do that? So let's go out and say, and use that. We'll use the task recorder, sorry, and let's create a recording. And I'm going to create my task recording. And this is a great way so that you can go out and document what you want to do. And I'm going to go back here. I'm going to do the full setup. I'm going to say I want to go into the all customers. And then I want to create a new record here. And just bear with me. I want to go out and look at a customer that I created an example for. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a new account here. This is for an organization. The customer is going to be, let me see down here, for the stalwart stag outfitters. So stalwart stag, this is a stalwart stag here. They're going to be a wholesaler, or actually they're going to be a merchant. And then we're going to say the zip code is 01 Waterdeep, and they're located on, I'm just looking at the address, 44 Antler Row in Waterdeep, and they're actually going to be in the trades ward. Their phone, I can get their phone number here. And enter that in. So the task recorder is going out and creating a recording for us. And then it'll be Odin, who's the main contact there. And I'm going to save this. So we've gone out and we've recorded this task, and I'm going to now stop this process. Now, I'm going to, let me just save this to my PC. I'll leave that. And now the problem with the task recording is if we go out and look at what gets created, then notice there's really no action here in the steps. It's very functional, but there's not a lot of information. So if we wanted to go out and create training from this, then what you do is you save this as a developer recording. And we're going to keep this because this is an XML file. And if we look at this file and look at it inside Notepad, then we'll see that this is all XML. This is the developer content for the task guide. But I'm going to copy this, and then let's move back over to my configuration area. And I'm going to paste this in here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say I want to create a new chat. And I'm going to go out and paste the XML file into my into ChatGPT. So we can't really understand this, but I'll say create training this content. So it's going out and reading the documentation, and now it's going out and creating my guide for me. It's actually showing me all the objectives. It's going out and creating all the tasks for me along the way. it's unlike the Word document. It has recorded the customer account that gets added in here. So it said enter in the customer account, enter Stalwart Stag, and then it's a merchant. Had the address wrong, it's Antler Row, and then here's all the data that's inside of here. Now, what I can do is I can also say, I could say create a, wait, we'll leave that for now. But now something else that you can do to really supercharge your going out and creating of the documentation is within GPT, and the other language models have similar sort of capabilities. But there's this project option, and a project allows you to go out, and you can go out and create an individual project. You can associate files to it that you may want to use as reference, and also you can go and add instructions. So in this case, I've gone out and I've said I want to go out and I want to use this information as my standard for how I create my training documentation. Now, yesterday someone said, "Well, can I have that? Can I have that prompt?" Well, you really don't need to, because what you can do is you go out and you create the document, you create the guide how you want it to look, and you massage it through GPT. So we've gone out and we've added the detail that's associated with this, so we've got the conclusion. Then what you do is just say create prompt, a system prompt will so what you say is create a system prompt that will create what I actually had before. So now this is going out and creating that system prompt for you. So design the documentation how you want it to look, and then you just go out and copy this, and you say, I want to create a new project in GPT, and this could be so I'm going to say that this is a Microsoft Training Assistant. You say, I'm going to go out and add the instructions in here. And so everything we're asked, we just put in here. And you can go out and you can update this and refine it later on. And now what I can do is I can go back and I can take this, in this case, the task recording, and I could say, create a training guide. And what it's going to do is it's going to take all the format that you've defined and recreate that for you. So now we've got, it's going to say navigate. This is interesting, saying navigate to the customers, create a new customer record. So it's split this out into two separate sections. And then it's giving me the worked example along the way for all this information along with the conclusion. Now, if I wanted to go out and make this, I've already got one here that I use for my advanced dungeons in Dynamics 365 that I've configured. And so what I can do here is I can use this document and create new training. And it's going to take that file, and now that I've already pre-formatted this for me, then this is the documentation that it's creating along the way. So it says, for me, I want to have the title. I want to have an introduction as to what we're doing. Then I have a task, which is the task is configuring a customer. I've got an overview and objective, and then I have the individual tasks with the steps here. And in this case, I include the navigation inside of the step. And it says, how do you do it? These are all the steps that are going in here. this is the data that's been created. Here's the conclusion, and I even have experience point awards that get created along the way, all in the theme of Advanced Dungeons and Dragons. Now, what I can do is I can say, create an additional set of data of, say, 5 customers. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, now I've got the format, it knew what I was creating, but now I'm saying, based off this information, create an exercise for the learners to go out and create other information. So now we've got the Gentle Mermaid, we've got the Aura Moonshadow, that's actually a person, we've got a brewery, and so forth. And this is now going out and creating some more information. Say, for example, say we want to change the genre of our training, then we can just tell GPT that I want to shift the error or shift the type of records that we're creating. And it's going to go out and create this. And now we're creating a new account, and this is for Novaspire. They're an orbital platform, and they're a contract manufacturer, and there's some more information. And here's, using the same format, here are some more customers that we can set up based off that that documentation that you want to do. So if we have this, then we can take this to the next level. So I can go and take this, and I can say, I can use another assistant to create an article. And what I can do is I can say, create an overview and what I'm going to do is I'm going to paste in everything from before. So I went out and I took a task recording. I created training documentation for it with the step-by-step instructions. Said I've got another assistant here that this is now talking about the Orion Stellar Trading Company, some information about it, a worked example that's associated with it, the additional customers that are set up, and then some other information that's associated with it. And then we can go out and we can use this as blog posts. Something else that you can do that you may want to do, because I go out and I then if I take my base data and then expand, maybe I want to post this to LinkedIn, then what you can do is I can say, for this training, I want to so I can say, create a post or a starting point for a Twitter post that's based off this, where we can go out and then we can have additional you can do to pre up your content and your blog posts as you create it. Is that I do is a lot of people go out and they create images to be associated with the item. So if, for example, if we go out to LinkedIn, then today, if we go out and I'll look at my post that I made, then what you'll see is I've got some posts here that I actually did that, and then I've got some posted out with the main information inside of there. But also what I did is, if I go down further, then I asked it to create the introductory post here for LinkedIn that's has all the content associated with this, and I massage it to get a different format. Inside here, I've got an image that's associated with this. So images make everything look nice. So what I can do is I can say, instead of telling it to, or I can say telling it, or let's try it. No, we won't. Instead of telling it to go out and create an image for me, ChatGPT doesn't really create it creates okay images, but they're pretty generic. So what you can do is you can say, so I want to create an image prompt for this training, and I'll say with no backdrop. And what that's going to do is that's going to take the content and it's going to give me, in this case, an image prompt. So what I can do now is I can go out, I use Midjourney a lot, and I can go out and I can say I want to create an image. What I can do is I can just say create the image, and I'm going to use some profiles that I've got set up here. And what this is going to do is this is going to go out and create some images for me. So this is, we're going out and creating a customer, and this is for spacefaring. So it's going out and it's giving it sort of like a subtle look here. And I'm using watercolor and so forth, but it's giving me the same theme in here. And then I could use this in the article that I create. Or what I can do is I'm going to say, create a variation. What I'm going to do is, instead of creating an illustration, what I'm going to ask it is for a more of a realistic image. And I'm going to go back here to Midjourney and create this, and I can go out and change the version and the aspect ratio that's here, and then this is going to go out and create something that I could use. That's notice here I've got, this is more of an illustration. This is more of a stylish photographic image. And if we go out, then I can go and associate with the article that I'm creating. And let's look at these. Then we can see that these are a lot more stylish in their format, and we can go and we can tweak these. So I use Midjourney a lot for that. What we've done here is what I've done throughout this process is really show you how you can go out and how you can take something that's very functionally complete, like this, with all the instructions and everything that we want to do, in this case for going out and setting up some costing sheets, and take that and convert it over into something that's more presentable to the users, and also something that's a little bit more prettier, and that we can have more context being created along the way with the knowledge that inside of its language model. And then if we just go out and take a Word document, then we can pretty that up. And then if we want to add in images, then there's a little bit of triage that we do here, but it's not, we've already got the content, so it's not actually a lot of work for us to go out and do that. So this is the process that I work through. This is how I go out and how I take ideas and documents that I've got, and I don't have to go out and do all the hard writing thinking. I'm going out and really getting GPT to do all of the repetitive mechanical work, because writing like this is mechanical. There's a little bit of flair that you put in there, but it's not necessarily something that that everyone has a skill for. And the only other thing that I can point out is, say for example, if English isn't your native language, or say for example, if you want to convert this to another language, then the language translations are a lot better. So I could say, rewrite this in Gaelic. Then, and I chose Gaelic because I'd probably, all right, let me show you what it's doing over here. So create the whole document, training guide this way. So it's going to go out and really create that format that you have and change it into whatever language you want. And then you may want to go out and do a little bit of a proofread of it if you're fluent in the language. But for me, this sort of gives a good example. And notice also that it's not changing the menu items. So it's not translating the menu items. It's smart enough to know that the type, we have to change the type within the system, but all of the other language has been changed for us, and then we can reformat this and do the same things that we were doing before. So with that, I'm around about 10 minutes over the time limit that I wanted, but I wanted to show this and possibly get people a little bit more interested in going out and reformatting their documents and making things look pretty, because pretty documentation is nice in the system. So with that said, I'm going to close out. This was sort of like an impromptu live stream, or a change in the live stream process, and I hope this was interesting to the people that came on board and took a look at this. So have a great day, everyone, and catch you on the next Advanced Engines and Dynamics 365 bare bones configuration guide live stream, where we go out and configure Dynamics from scratch using step-by-step instructions like we're creating here. So have a great day, everyone.